Asia, the cradle of civilization. Or as we like to call it, the world's most ancient daycare center. Welcome to Asia, where history is so old it needs a cane. A land so big and diverse it makes a buffet look like a sad lunchbox. Seriously, it's like Mother Nature's all-you-can-eat special. From the icy peaks of the Himalayas, where even Yeti needs a sweater, to the lush jungles of Southeast Asia, where Tarzan would feel right at home, Asia's got it all. Asia is a continent of extremes. It's like Mother Nature couldn't decide on a theme, so she just threw everything in there. It boasts the world's highest mountains and deepest lakes. Talk about overachieving. It's like Asia's trying to win a nature contest. Its rivers, like the Yangtze and the Ganges, have been the lifeblood of civilizations for millennia. Think of them as the original water coolers, where ancient gossip flowed as freely as the water. Asia is not just geographically diverse but also culturally rich. It's like a cultural smoothie blending all the best flavors. And trust me, it's delicious. It's the birthplace of major religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, and Christianity. Basically, it's the spiritual version of a startup incubator, where divine ideas got their big break. It has seen the rise and fall of empires. Some lasted centuries, others were more like a one-hit wonder. History's greatest hits and misses. And let's not forget the unique philosophies and art forms. Asia's got more wisdom and creativity than a room full of philosophers and artists. It's like a never-ending TED Talk. Our journey through Asia's history will take us from the ancient civilizations of Mesopotamia and the Indus Valley, where people were already complaining about the weather. Some things never change, so buckle up. We're about to embark on a thrilling adventure through time, exploring the epic story of Asia and its enduring impact on the world. And trust me, it's going to be a wild ride. Hold on to your history hats. Our first stop takes us to a land nestled between two rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates. Or as I like to call them, the original water park. No lifeguards though. This is Mesopotamia, often called the cradle of civilization. Because apparently civilization needed a nap and a snack. The Sumerians developed the world's first writing system, cuneiform, around 3200 BCE. They were basically the first people to say, put it in writing, and probably the first to complain about writer's cramp. They also gave us the wheel, mathematics, and astronomy. Talk about overachievers. They probably invented the first to-do list too. Invent wheel. Check. Following the Sumerians, empires rose and fell. The Babylonians with their legendary King Hammurabi. He was the original law and order guy, minus the TV show, and the catchy theme music. The echoes of Mesopotamia's legacy resonate even today, reminding us of the power of human innovation. And that even ancient people had to deal with paperwork. Lots and lots of paperwork. Meanwhile, far to the east, another great civilization was having a splash along the banks of the Indus River, literally. The Indus Valley Civilization, where ancient folks were probably better at city planning than we are today. Seriously, they had it all figured out. These guys were the original urban planners with cities that would make modern architects weep with envy. And maybe a little jealousy. Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro had grid-like streets, complex drainage systems, and public baths that would put your local spa to shame. Sorry, modern spas. Picture this. Thousands of years ago, people were living it up in cities with better infrastructure than some places today. No offense, modern cities, the Indus people were like the Michelangelos of their time, crafting pottery, seals, and jewelry that would make you say, "Wow, I need that." Etsy, eat your heart out. They were also the original globetrotters, trading their fancy goods with Mesopotamia because why not? Who needs Amazon Prime? But here's the kicker, their script is still undeciphered. It's like the world's oldest unsolved crossword puzzle. Good luck, linguists. What juicy secrets do their writings hold? And what on earth caused their decline? Did they run out of coffee? Or maybe they just needed a vacation? These are the burning questions that keep historians and archaeologists up at night, along with too much caffeine. The Indus Valley Civilization, with its top-notch urban planning and mysterious vibes, remains the ultimate ancient enigma. Stay curious, folks, and maybe a little amused. As the centuries rolled by, new powers emerged, like the latest fashion trends but with more swords and fewer sequins. Move over Gucci, enter the Persian Empire, led by Cyrus the Great, who was basically the ancient world's version of a rock star in the 6th century BCE. Think Mick Jagger but with a crown and a lot more land. Cyrus, known for his tolerance and military genius, united a vast empire stretching from the Mediterranean Sea to the Indus River. Imagine trying to manage that without Google Maps. Talk about a logistical nightmare. The Persians were the original overachievers, building a network of roads and establishing a postal system. Yes, they had their own ancient version of snail mail. And you thought waiting for a letter was slow now. Their tolerance of local customs and religions was like hosting a never-ending multicultural potluck. Everyone brought their own dish and nobody complained about the spice level. No food fights here. Think of the logistical challenges of ruling such a vast empire without modern communication. It was like trying to organize a family reunion with smoke signals. Can you hear me now? Nope. Meanwhile, in the Indian subcontinent, powerful kingdoms like the Mauryan Empire were rising. It was like Game of Thrones, but with more elephants. And fewer dragons. Chandragupta Maurya, a shrewd strategist, unified much of India under his rule in the 4th century BCE. He was basically the ancient world's version of a chess grandmaster. Checkmate, anyone? His grandson, Ashoka the Great, is remembered for his conversion to Buddhism and his commitment to peace and nonviolence. Think of him as the ancient Dalai Lama with a crown. And a really big kingdom. He spread Buddhism through edicts carved on pillars and rocks, promoting compassion and ethical governance. It was like ancient Twitter, but with fewer trolls and more wisdom. Peace and love. Section 5, The Rise of China, a unique story. Or as I like to call it, how to build a wall and make everyone talk about it. Meanwhile, in East Asia, a civilization as ancient as Mesopotamia was taking shape, China. They were so ahead of their time, they probably invented the first Do Not Disturb sign, and maybe even the first out-of-office email. Isolated by geography, China developed a unique culture and worldview. They were like the cool kids who didn't need anyone else to tell them how to be awesome. You know, the ones who start trends without even trying. The Zhou dynasty, lasting for almost a millennium, laid the foundation for Chinese philosophy and governance. Imagine a government that lasts longer than your favorite TV show. It's like the Friends of ancient dynasties. Confucius, a philosopher who lived during the late Zhou period, emphasized social harmony, respect for elders, and the importance of education. Basically, he was the original life coach before it was cool. Move over, Tony Robbins. His teachings profoundly influenced Chinese society and continue to resonate today. So, if you ever feel like your parents are nagging you, just remember, Confucius started it all. Thanks, Confucius. The Qin dynasty, though short-lived, marked a turning point in Chinese history. Think of it as the microwave dinner of dynasties, quick but impactful. Ready in 3 minutes or less. Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor, unified China in the 3rd century BCE. He was like the ultimate project manager, but instead of spreadsheets, he had armies. And a really big to-do list. He standardized weights and measures, built roads, and initiated the construction of the Great Wall, a testament to Chinese engineering prowess. Basically, he was the original Bob the Builder. Can we fix it? Yes, we can. China's story is a testament to human resilience and creativity. They were the original DIY experts, long before Pinterest was a thing. Eat your heart out, Martha Stewart. Its unique culture, philosophies, and innovations have left an indelible mark on the world, shaping the course of human history in profound ways. So next time you use a compass or enjoy some noodles, give a nod to ancient China for making life a little more interesting and delicious. Section 6. Buddhism and Hinduism, spreading wisdom and a few giggles. From the heart of India, 2 major religions, Hinduism and Buddhism, emerged and spread their influence far and wide like a really good joke at a family dinner. Hinduism, with its ancient roots in the Vedas, emphasized dharma, karma, and reincarnation. Basically, it's like cosmic recycling. You come back until you get it right. It offered a path to spiritual liberation through self-realization. Think of it as the ultimate self-help program, but with more yoga and fewer motivational posters. Buddhism, founded by Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, offered a different path to enlightenment. Spoiler alert, it involves a lot of sitting and thinking. The Buddha taught the 4 noble truths, emphasizing the universality of suffering and the path to liberation through the Eightfold Path. It's like a life hack, but with more meditation and fewer cat videos. Buddhism resonated with people across Asia, spreading along trade routes and through the efforts of missionaries. Imagine monks as the original influencers, but with robes and a lot more wisdom. It reached Tibet, China, Korea, Japan, and Southeast Asia, adapting to local cultures while retaining its core teachings. Kind of like how pizza adapts to every country but still remains delicious. These religions fostered cultural exchange, philosophy, art, and architecture. Think of it as the ancient world's version of a cultural potluck. Their influence transcended borders, connecting people through shared beliefs and practices, leaving an enduring legacy of spirituality and wisdom, and a lot of really cool statues. Section 7. The March of Islam, a New Era. Or as I like to call it, the Arabian Peninsula's Got Talent. So picture this, it's the 7th century CE, and the Arabian Peninsula is about to drop the hottest mixtape of the millennium, Islam. Move over, DJ Khaled, enter the Prophet Muhammad, the original influencer, preaching about one God, Allah, and the ultimate life hack, submission to his will. Talk about a viral TED Talk. Islam went viral faster than a cat video, spreading across the Arabian Peninsula, North Africa, the Middle East, and even parts of Europe. No internet needed. Then came the Islamic Golden Age, where everyone was basically a genius. Math, astronomy, medicine, literature, you name it, they aced it. They were the original overachievers. The Abbasid Caliphate, with its capital in Baghdad, was like the Hogwarts of the ancient world, attracting scholars from all over. Expecto Patronum, anyone? Think of Baghdad as the Silicon Valley of its time, but with more camels and fewer tech bros. And way better food. They translated ancient Greek texts, basically saving all the cheat codes for future generations. Thanks for the hacks, guys. When Islam hit Asia, it was like a cultural fireworks show. Boom, instant enlightenment. It led to the rise of empires like the Mughal Empire in India and the Ottoman Empire in Turkey, which were basically the Beyoncé and Jay-Z of their time. Talk about power couples. Islam fostered trade, cultural exchange, and the spread of new ideas and technologies, making the world a much more interesting place, and way more fun to explore. Section 8. Mongol Fury, from east to west, or as I like to call it, Genghis Khan's Wild Ride. From the steppes of Central Asia, a new power emerged in the 13th century, the Mongols. Think of them as the original road trip enthusiasts, but with more horses and fewer snack breaks. Under the leadership of Genghis Khan, a brilliant military strategist and part-time motivational speaker, the Mongols united disparate tribes and embarked on a series of conquests that would make even the most ambitious travel bloggers jealous. Move over, Instagram influencers. Their empire stretched from China in the east to Eastern Europe in the west, encompassing Persia, Central Asia, and parts of Russia. Talk about an overachiever. They were basically the overachieving kid in class who did everyone's group project. Imagine the logistical challenges of communicating and governing such a vast empire in the 13th century. It's like trying to organize a family reunion with no cell phones, no GPS, and a lot more horses. The Mongols were fierce warriors, but they were also pragmatic rulers. They knew when to fight and when to send a strongly worded letter. Basically, they were the original let's take this offline people. They established a system of trade and communication that connected their vast empire. Think of it as the original Amazon Prime, but with more horses and fewer delivery drones. They tolerated different religions and cultures, contributing to a period of relative peace and stability. Basically, they were the cool kids who let everyone sit at their lunch table. No cliques here. The Mongol conquests had a profound impact on Asia. They were like the ultimate influencers, changing everything they touched. Move over, Kardashians. They facilitated trade and cultural exchange between East and West. Think of it as the original East meets West fusion cuisine, but with more spices and fewer Yelp reviews. They introduced gunpowder to Europe and brought back new technologies and ideas to Asia. Basically, they were the original tech startup, always innovating and disrupting the market. Move over, Silicon Valley. Section 9. The Rise of Nation-States, a Shifting World, or as I like to call it, the Great Asian Shuffle. So, the Mongol Empire decided to take a break and fragmented like a cookie in milk. New powers popped up like mushrooms after rain. It was like a game of whack-a-mole with kingdoms. Meanwhile, in Europe, people were getting all artsy-fartsy with the Renaissance and decided, hey, let's explore the world and maybe find some new snacks. Because, who doesn't love a good snack? European powers, in their quest for exotic spices and shiny things, turned their attention towards Asia. Because why not? It's like they had a collective case of FOMO. The arrival of Europeans in Asia was like a surprise party that nobody asked for. They brought gifts, but also a lot of drama. And let's be honest, nobody likes uninvited guests. They set up trading posts, colonies, and eventually empires. Basically, they were the original Airbnb hosts. Except, they never left a good review. The British East India Company, for instance, was like that one friend who overstays their welcome, gradually taking over much of India and raiding the fridge. Yeah, seriously, who invited them? Meanwhile, in East Asia, Japan decided to ghost everyone and went into isolation under the Tokugawa shogunate. No texts, no calls, nothing. They were the original do not disturb mode. China, under the Ming and Qing dynasties, was like a roller coaster, up with prosperity and innovation, down with internal drama and external pressures. It was a wild ride, to say the least. The 19th and 20th centuries were like a reality TV show, with nationalism rising in Asia. Everyone wanted their own spin-off. It was like keeping up with the kingdoms. Inspired by Western ideas and tired of colonial rule, nationalist movements emerged across the continent, demanding independence and self-determination. It was like a giant game of who's the boss. Spoiler alert, they all wanted to be the boss. Section 10, Modern Asia, from colonies to powerhouses. Buckle up, folks, it's going to be a wild ride. Grab your popcorn. The 20th century was like a roller coaster for Asia, with more twists and turns than a soap opera. Seriously, it had more drama than a reality TV show. World War II hit Asia like a ton of bricks, leading to the decline of European colonialism. It was like the Europeans said, "Oops, our bad," and packed their bags. Talk about an awkward exit. The Cold War came along and divided Asia like a bad breakup, with some countries swiping right for the West and others swiping left for the Soviet Union. It was like Tinder, but with nukes. Proxy wars, like the Korean War and the Vietnam War, were the ultimate he said, she said battles, causing untold suffering and destruction. Talk about drama. It was like a soap opera, but with real consequences. Despite all the chaos, Asia pulled off an economic glow-up in the latter half of the 20th century. It was like watching a makeover show, but with entire countries. Extreme Makeover, Nation Edition. Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, and Singapore became the cool kids on the block, thanks to their tech-savvy brains, export-oriented economies, and sheer determination. They were like the nerds who turned into billionaires. Revenge of the nerds, anyone? China, after deciding to play the market game in the late 1970s, went from zero to hero, lifting millions out of poverty and becoming a global economic powerhouse. Talk about a plot twist. It's like they found the cheat codes to the game of life. India, with its booming IT sector and youthful energy, also joined the party, emerging as a major player on the world stage. It's like they said, "Move over Silicon Valley, we've got this." Namaste, tech world. Section 11, Asia's Legacy, a Timeless Tapestry, or as I like to call it, Asia's Greatest Hits, the Remix. Our journey through Asia's history has been like binge-watching a series with more plot twists than a soap opera. Seriously, it's like Game of Thrones, but with more noodles. We've seen empires rise and fall faster than my New Year's resolutions, and religions spread like the latest TikTok dance craze. If only my diet plans were that effective. And let's not forget the epic struggle for independence. Think of it as the ultimate season finale cliffhanger. Spoiler alert, the good guys win. Asia's story is like a blockbuster movie, filled with resilience, culture, and more plot twists than you can shake a chopstick at. And trust me, I've tried. From ancient innovations that would make MacGyver jealous to modern miracles that even sci-fi writers couldn't dream up, Asia's got it all. This continent has contributed more to the world than my grandma's secret recipe for dumplings. And that's saying something. Asia will draw upon its rich heritage to tackle future challenges like a ninja with a PhD. Imagine that, stealthy and smart. It's a tapestry woven with threads of diversity and resilience, and maybe a few cat videos for good measure. Because who doesn't love a good cat video? Offering lessons from the past, insights for the present, and hope for the future, because who doesn't love a happy ending? Roll credits.